Alright, so this is the Charger Enhancer CE140 from a company called PIDZOOM, and this turns your basically dumb charger for your e-bike, electric scooter, unicycle, those mobility type of devices, and it turns it into a smart charger. And let's just get a quick look at the box here just to show you what this is all about. Just so you show the features here: auto disconnect, enhanced safety, smart charging, real-time monitoring, extended battery life, and battery capacity assessment. So kind of wondering, well, what exactly is this? It turns your dumb charger into a smart charger. So this takes your charger that comes with your e-bike or scooter, etc. You plug it into this, and you'll get basically more information on this display. It'll show you voltage going in, voltage going out. You can even set limits in terms of current and voltage, and you get also more information. For example, in a charge session, you can watch how many watt hours gets charged into a battery, so you can assess the capacity of your battery with this. Basically, this display will show you a lot more information, and you'll have more control over the charging session. And those things are, I think, all good things. Like, for example, it has some safety features like overcurrent, cutoff, and stuff like that. So if, for example, your charger has a failure inside, and instead of the normal 2 amps it'll output, it suddenly goes to 10 amps, and then suddenly the overloads the BMS on your e-bike, that could cause a battery fire, for example. And then this will have a cutoff sensor in here to turn that off. But I think the feature that I like the most on this is you can actually set the cutoff voltage on here. So, for example, this charger here is for my ENGV Y600 electric scooter. It's a 13S system. Max voltage is like 54.6 volts. And so when I plug this in and I charge it overnight, it takes a few hours, 4 or 5 hours. It goes to 100% and then it turns off. And for the longevity of the battery, that's actually not ideal. These lithium-ion batteries prefer to be charged to something lower. 100% is usually not a good idea, so something like 80% would be better. And then you can, basically slow down the degradation of the battery. And that ability is not in most or pretty much all of these dumb chargers. But this smart charger enhancer will give you that ability. You can set a cutoff voltage so that when you plug it in at night, it will stop at a certain voltage. So if I want to say, like, for my scooter, I wanted to charge to 80%, something like 51.4 volts, I believe. And then when it hits that target, that threshold, it will stop charging. And if you continue to do that, just charge to 80%, that will extend the longevity of the battery. It'll slow down the degradation of the battery, and you'll be able to use it for a lot longer versus charging it to 100% all the time. That's not very good for the battery, and you will degrade the battery a lot quicker. Now, in terms of what you're going to get the charger enhancer. You're going to get an option to get an adapter. So obviously, a lot of these chargers have different plugs. There's a wide variety of them. There's a chart on the product page that shows some of the common ones available. You'll have to look it up as to what your particular plug is. Sometimes on the charger itself, there'll be photos on the back of what the plug should look like, and that should help you guide what to pick in terms of what you need for your particular unit. And this is the one that's on mine. They have a bunch of weird names. You can go and look at the list if you want. But you're going to get these 2 adapters here. So one goes onto the charger end, like so. And then you're going to plug this into the charger enhancer. This is going to go in here, like so. And right now it's not plugged in, so it's not going to power on, but I'll show you that here in a second. And then you're going to want to use this extender cable. This will be included. And this is all XT60 connectors. So you plug this extender into here, and then you plug the other adapter over here into the other end, and then you plug this into your device. So in my case, my ENGV Y600 electric scooter, and then you can proceed with the charging setup. So you will get, with the purchase of this, you get the extension cable and one adapter set. If you want additional adapter sets for your other e-bikes or scooters, I believe they're about $9 or $10 for each one. And just to give you an idea of what some of the other ones look like, they did send me a few other examples. You know, most of the e-bikes and stuff come with these sort of barrel connectors. And of course, the other ends on this side here, same procedure as on this particular plug. Just a quick look at the user's manual. I'm not going to cover everything here, but there's some important stuff to look at. So it talks about the basic connection, basic operation. I did show you how to connect up everything just now. Here's the display. I will show you that here powered up momentarily, but it just shows you all the information you're going to get in terms of status, whether it's charging or not, input and output voltage and current. You can adjust your preset voltage here. As I mentioned, if you want to charge to a lower value than 100%, you can do that here. Then there's an overcurrent protection limit, and that's just so that you don't cause battery fires. You want to set that, and then also shows you the charging time for that session, and then also power, watts going in, as well as total amount of energy. And then what you can do in terms of measuring your battery capacity is you can drain your battery to zero basically until it turns off. Then what you want to do is you want to let the scooter, device, whatever, just kind of sit powered off for maybe like 15 minutes so that the BMS can calibrate internally before you start charging it. Otherwise, you may get some wrong numbers here. And then once you've waited maybe like 15 minutes or so, go ahead and start your charging session, and then it'll obviously start at 0. And then you want to go to 100%, so make sure your preset voltage is set to max. And then at the end, when it hits 100%, you'll have a number of watt hours going in. And then you can compare that to what the rated watt hours was for when you got it brand new. And that'll give you an idea of how much the battery is degraded over time. So say, you can do this maybe once every year, depending on how often you are using the e-bike or scooter, and then give you an idea of how much degradation is in the battery. And also they'll give you an idea of how much range you should actually expect on a full charge. So for example, if your battery was rated for, say 500 watt hours at the, when it was brand new, but then like after say a couple years, you do a battery capacity test and you find that it is only 450 watt hours, then that gives you an idea of how much your range has been reduced from the advertised range when you got it from brand new. So that's a pretty nice feature to have. You also get internal temperature, and then you get these charging codes here. And here is what the charging codes mean. They're just basically E00 through E07. And obviously some of them just mean things are working normally or something occurred. And then so if you want to pause the video and read off everything here, feel free to do so. This is the specifications for the CE140 model. There is another model that's, I think currently right now it's only like $10 more. It's a CE200, which has a higher, wider voltage range. It's 10 to 200 volts instead of 30 to 140, but I think pretty much everything else is the same except for, I think the higher end model has a timer feature, which this one does not. But essentially it's the same. So if you have a device that is over 140 volts, for example, which I don't, then you're probably going to have to want to go to the CE200 model instead of the CE140. All right, so I got it connected up and charging right now. Got it connected to the power supply here for my NV-Y600 electric scooter with the adapter plugs and cables. And you can see here on the red status light there, it is charging. And I have set it to, I think it's 49.6 volts at 2 amps. Now the thing is about this charger is that you have to have it plugged into the scooter before you power up the charger. If you have this, say for example, you have this powered on and this is not plugged into the scooter, so I'll unplug it. It will start doing this. I'm not sure why it's programmed to do like that. It's kind of weird. So just have to make sure it's plugged in. Plug it into the scooter and then it'll start charging. And then once it's set once you have it started charging, you can then set the voltage and amperage. The lowest it can go is 2 amps. This charger is max 2 amps, so not a problem. Long press the set button. This starts flashing. Then you can adjust the voltage. And I'm going to actually increase this to 51 volts. I think it's like 85% on this 48 volt system. And then long press set. And I'll start charging. You see here it has input voltage of 47.5, out at 47.5. That'll increase as the battery goes up in voltage. Then you can see your number of watt hours here going in. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, but you gotta make sure that the smart charger, the PIDZOOM, is plugged into the scooter first before you power on the charger. Otherwise, you get that boot loop thing that's going on. It's kind of weird. But yeah, other than that, it looks like it's working. Got any questions? Let me know. I'll put a link down in the video description if you guys want to check it out. Talk to you guys in the next video.